Hey everybody, welcome back for war number 3 of season 27. I'm fighting for the Alliance SAS, and for this war we are matched up against the Alliance Nøpe. We matched up with them last season. We were able to win our matchup there, but we know that this is a routine Masters Alliance, so margin for error is going to be really small. It's going to be a competitive war, and hopefully we can pick up the win and finish off week 1 with a record of 2-1. So here we go, this is who we have here. We have a compact war here. We are back up in section 1. We do not have any fights there. Our war starts off in section 2 where we take the shared mini boss at the start, a hit monkey with crumbling armor, force of will, footloose, and kinetic transference, followed by an Ultron and a Mr. Fantastic on path 4. The Mr. Fantastic I think is a really common placement there. The Ultron, haven't really seen that yet. And we finish off our war with a Magneto on hazard shift. These are the attackers. I'm pumped. I'm super excited to have the chance to bring in Shang-Chi. He's at rank 3, level 45, unduped at SIG level 0. He's going to take on 2 fights, starting with that Hit Monkey and the Mr. Fantastic. Captain America at rank 5, SIG level 200. He's going to take the other 2 fights with Ultron and Magneto at the end. And our third slot, Magneto HoX coming in for that super handy pre-fight, which we do use twice this war. So here's our first fight, Note 25, crumbling armor, force of will, footloose, and kinetic transference. This is our first time doing this matchup, especially this one because it's Shang-Chi against Hit Monkey. So here's the game plan. We're going to use the guidance boost from Magneto HoX. Our first priority is to get off the disarming strike, the medium combo, just so we can land a slow debuff. Then after that, our second priority, we should look to stack a few cleanses just in case we get parried or we get hit. Maybe we can purify the bleeds. Just in case, the most important one is to get off the slow debuff just to counteract the footloose. Had no idea how this matchup was going to play out, so definitely super nervous going into it because you kind of have this game plan drawn up in your head, but you never know how it's actually going to execute in practice, especially when it's your first time doing this fight. So not a great start here. Our slow debuff, we were able to apply it, but we end up blocking a few too many hits, and it's going to throw off the timing of the fight here. So I don't want to get cornered, but I also want to bait this special 1 because I'm not super comfortable dexing the special 2. But once we saw that first special 1, we got the rhythm down, and I just need to try and bait out a few more specials here, kind of wait out the unstoppable and the evade buff, just so I can get back on track with the fight. And it looks like one more special 1 and we're going to be able to rebuild. So we got to figure out a way to land a slow debuff, which we do right there. And I should have used the stun strike, the medium light medium combo to activate a stun, but instead I was 1 light short activating the unblockable one, and that threw me off. But we were able to throw off a special 2 that did a big chunk of damage, and we were able to finish him shortly thereafter. So a few sketchy moments there. Glad we were able to get through without a death. Not sure that's an optimal matchup, and I'm sure I definitely could have played that better. But moving on here, Captain America versus Ultron, a Note 25, steady build up unblockable and spry. Nothing really much to worry about here, or so I thought. My game plan was to just parry to keep up kinetic charges, and other than that, don't scrub it up. But I ended up scrubbing it up for a bit, chalk it up to just poor habits on my end. I assumed that just a regular parry heavy playstyle would carry me through the fight. However, what I didn't take into account was the last hit of the heavy actually being hit while there is no stun debuff and his evade timer is up, and you're going to see that's going to be an issue. And right there I should have clued into it and I should have pivoted to a different game plan, but I failed to do that, and it's going to cost me a little bit of health right there. So he evades, I get hit, I get a bleed placed on me. Obviously I'm still in good shape here. That bleed's not taking for too much, and at this point I know that I need to change the way I'm approaching this fight. So we're still gonna bait his special 1. It's super easy to evade, but I'm just gonna keep a closer eye on the evade timer now. Now that Ultron was buffed, he actually does become an easier defender to fight, ironically. But so at this point, we're super comfortable now. We figured out what we needed to do to execute the rest of this fight, and there's no issue. Captain America is a tank. Super pumped to have him on the team here. As you can see, I'm just waiting out the evade timer, and I think I'm gonna get up to a special 2 here, and that should end the fight. Just got to clear one more evade passive, which we did there, and then a special 2. There we go. That crits 87k. That's always cool to see in war. It would have killed him anyways. So we have our next fight here on path 4 in section 2 is node 25, steady build up unblockable, same node as before, plus spry. We have a Mr. Fantastic here, and I know that Shang-Chi is just the hard counter here. We tested him in the off season a little bit, and those matchups went super clean. Just have to make sure my first priority is to activate the cleansing strike. The cleanses are my priority here, and then the second priority, once I have the cleanses stacked, is going to place a slow. That's the disarming strike, the medium combo, because at certain points in the fight there may be a non-damaging debuff on either me or Mr. Fantastic, meaning that his evade is active, and that is probably the only threat in this fight. Is if you let him evade, let a few debuffs stack up, and then you kind of just snowballs from there. But with Shang-Chi, it's really hard to get to that point. As you see, we're off to a great start. We have cleanses up. We just bait a special. After we bait it, we're going to clear our strikes and just reset them, just so we can stack a few more chi charges. And 2 more strikes here. There's the disarming strike. And we're going to go for another one here into a special 2. That does a huge chunk of damage. I thought it might finish him, but we were just short. That's okay. No worries. One short combo should finish the fight. And that went super smoothly. We finished with a full yellow bar thanks to a little bit of willpower healing. But that was super fun. I love that matchup. And we have one more to end off the war here. This is what the matchup I was most worried about. Never done this one before. For node 49, hazard shift, incinerate, and poison, and stun immunity. We have a Magneto here, who happens to be a high ground defender. So the game plan here with Captain America Infinity War is to reparry as much as I can, just to keep up as many kinetic charges as I can. I have a skill on the team in Shang-Chi, so I will be able to shrug the incinerates and the poisons as they are inflicted on me, as long as I have enough kinetic charges, with the added benefit of being able to counteract Magneto's unstoppable buffs. So there's the window for my openings. But this matchup is going to require a lot of screen watching between the amount of kinetic charges that I have and his altitude charges. There's a lot of glancing back and forth, along with just making sure I don't play bad. So we're off to a pretty good start. We got a really good rhythm with repairing. We have plenty of kinetic charges at our disposal, and we're able to kind of just short combo. There's no real point in me doing a full 5-hit combo. I'd rather not be left with 1 or no kinetic charges, just in case I get cornered and need to get out of a hole. But the altitude charge has finally activated there, and you can kind of see between Magneto's SIG ability with the block penetration, in addition to the high ground damage, it's significant. Not enough to make me panic, but I do need to keep a close eye on how many blocked hits I take. This is my last fight of the war. The only thing I care about is getting Magneto to 0 before Captain America hits 0. So it's really just a health race at this point. I'm totally fine taking it slow and steady as long as I can keep that margin. So I decided to try to throw a late intercept there and whiff. That was just a dumb idea on my part. I'm never doing that again. I did use an invuln boost here, as you can see it came into play. So good thing I used an invuln boost. Who would have known what would have happened if I didn't have one on? So we parry the special 1 to keep up kinetic charges, and as you see, I'm charging heavy and using the special 3. No particular reason. I just find I don't enjoy the special 2 as much. especially when it doesn't crit. It just doesn't feel great. Whereas with the special 3, I get the indefinite kinetic charge, and I know exactly how much damage it's going to do. Super consistent, so that's just my preference. So we'll parry the special 1. This fight's going slower than all the other fights that I've taken, but you can see I'm pretty comfortable at this spot here. I know exactly what I'm doing. I have a pretty good rhythm with watching what I need to see on either side of the screen. The only thing I need to do is just to make sure that the altitude charges don't get out of hand, because you can see I blocked that last combo and that shit me down for a decent amount. With the special 3, this is going to close the gap, and at this point I know the fight's over. I just need to get one more opening, and then a combo into a special 1 will most likely finish him. And there we go, we get that last opening, and that special 1 ends up finishing the fight. So that was pretty sweet to go through. Glad we were able to get out of that fight successfully. Shout out to Tang, the officer in our alliance. He was the one that suggested this matchup, so I was just really glad that I was able to execute it. I am recording this late at night here. It's just approaching midnight, so the war isn't over, but it's looking pretty tough here. We are down, I think, 7-0. Nøpe is playing super clean, and we made a few errors, so it's all good. It happens, and who knows? Maybe in the morning the tables will turn. But that's it for our war here. Thanks for stopping by. Catch you for War 4.